Okay, let's just ask the big question right up front. Is our data completely out of control? Well, for a lot of companies, the answer is a pretty scary yes. So today, we're going to dive into some really cool, game-changing technologies that are bringing order to all that chaos and completely transforming how we manage our most valuable asset, our data.
Here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll get into the data dilemma, what the problem actually is. Then, we'll look at the tech transformation, see how it makes privacy-first processing possible, check out a real-world example of it all in action, and finally, we'll look ahead to what the future holds. So what is this data dilemma all about? Well, it's pretty simple, really. We have so much data now, coming from everywhere, that the old ways of managing it are just broken. And this leaves companies wide open to risks, bogged down by slow, clunky processes, and worse, making bad decisions because their information is a mess.
And for so many businesses, if they're being honest, the answer to this is a definite yes. It feels like they're drowning. The data is inefficient to handle, it's hard to trust if it's even accurate, and it carries huge security and compliance risks. It's a massive problem that, frankly, needs a 21st century solution. Which, of course, brings us to the exciting part. The tech transformation. Enough about the problem, right? Let's get into the solutions and explore this powerful new toolkit that's making data management genuinely intelligent. And here's a really simple way to think about it. You know how we all use apps on our phones to organize our schedules, our to-do lists, our whole lives, basically? Well, these technologies do the exact same thing, but for a company's gigantic, messy universe of data. They're built to bring order to the chaos. First up in our toolkit, AI and machine learning. At its heart, AI's job here is to automate all the boring, repetitive work. It's scanning data, checking for quality, spotting things that just look off, and can even predict potential problems before they blow up. You can literally think of it as a smart assistant that never gets tired. It's the thing that notices you have 10 different records for the same customer and says, hey, you should probably merge these. What's really cool is this frees up the actual people to stop doing manual cleanup and start thinking strategically about what the data actually means. Next, we've got blockchain. Now, I know you probably hear blockchain and think crypto, but in data governance, its purpose is way more fundamental. It's all about trust. It creates this digital record book that is basically impossible to tamper with, so you know for a fact where a piece of data came from and that it hasn't been changed. And this is the perfect way to picture it, like an unbreakable seal. This is absolutely critical in fields like finance, where you need a perfect, unchangeable history of every single transaction. Or think about healthcare. The integrity of a patient's medical record is something you just can't compromise on. Okay, so AI and blockchain are these incredibly powerful tools, but you need a place to use them, right? A workshop. That's where data governance platforms come in. Think of tools like Calibra or Elation. They act as a single command center for everything. They create a searchable catalog of all your data, manage all the rules, and track compliance, all in one spot. It's what makes good governance actually possible at a huge scale. Now, this next part is where things start to feel like they're straight out of science fiction. Let's talk about privacy-first processing. This is a revolutionary idea. How do you analyze sensitive data without ever actually looking at it? The magic behind this is called privacy-enhancing computation, or PEC. The whole point here is that it's a whole set of methods that let organizations work together and pull insights from their combined data, all while keeping the raw, sensitive stuff completely private and locked down. And there are two main ways this works. First, you've got homomorphic encryption. This is mind-blowing. It lets you do math directly on encrypted data. So a bank can analyze financial trends without ever decrypting the sensitive account information. Then there's federated learning. Imagine a bunch of hospitals wanting to train an AI to spot a rare disease. With this, they can all contribute their data to train one shared model, but no single patient record ever leaves its own hospital. The model gets smarter, but the data stays safe. Okay, so the theory is really cool, but does this stuff actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at a case study and see how it all comes together. So picture this, a massive global company. They're operating in, say, a dozen countries, and every single one has different data laws. It's a total nightmare to manage. So what's the solution? They bring in an AI-powered platform. It automatically scans all their data, flags quality problems, and even suggests fixes that are tailored to each country's specific rules. And the impact is huge, and it's immediate. People spend less time doing manual checks, the data gets way more accurate, and their compliance headaches just disappear. So, after all that, where does this leave us?
Let's boil it all down to the key takeaways that are really shaping the future of how we handle data. When you look at the big picture, these new technologies really deliver four main things. You get automation, which frees people up to do more important work. You get integrity, so you can actually trust your data. You get privacy that's baked in from the start, not just tacked on as an afterthought. And when you have all that, compliance becomes so much simpler.
And if you want a super simple way to remember all this, here it is. AI gives you the smart checks. Blockchain gives you the tamper-proof tracking. PEC gives you the privacy-first processing. And platforms give you the centralized control to manage the whole shebang.
So we'll end on this final thought. As all these amazing tools become the new standard, you have to wonder, what's next? As AI gets even smarter and our data becomes even more valuable, what's going to be the next big challenge and the next brilliant solution in this never-ending mission to protect our digital lives?